Just a few years ago, I was saying this exact same thing to myself. After so many rejections and failures on lonely nights, I thought my dating life was completely fucked. But today, I am married to a woman that society led me to believe that I would not be able to get. Well, there's good news and there's bad news. Let's start with the bad news first. The bad news is today, dating is harder than it's ever been. Your parents didn't have it this hard. Maybe even your older brother didn't have it this hard. So if you're not 6'3" with chiseled abs, living in a penthouse, a PhD, then you're probably cooked. But that's only if you take the conventional way of dating. The good news is this is 100% a mental game. So the second you start thinking, this is done, my dating life is fucked, this is never gonna work for me, then that will happen. Your mind starts to believe it more and more and more. But I'm here to help you change that. The truth is, most dating advice just completely misses the point. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Pickup lines, just superficial advice. It's not going to help in these kinds of situations when you're really down in the dumps. When I was at my low point, I didn't want tips and tricks. I wanted to figure out why my dating life was so messed up. I wanted to stop being the victim because I felt like I was this loser, nerdy, scrawny guy who just couldn't get women. I wanted to feel like I had any sense of control over this process. But I soon discovered that all this stuff was inside my head. It all started with how I thought about this process. It starts with something I call the core internal battles. These aren't just mindset issues. These are like emotional wounds that are bleeding into everything that you do and all the actions that you take. So the first thing that every man has to do in order to change his dating life is to understand the concept that shame breeds more shame. So every time that you check social media, you see, your friend getting engaged, you see your friend hanging out with a bunch of cute girls or some random person you went to high school with succeeding in their dating life. And then you start to feel this shame, this pit in your stomach. What happens is you start to go on dates and you start to feel a little bit desperate because of this shame. And you can smell the shame on you like a bad cologne. People can sense it. You're stuck watching everyone else have this awesome dating life. And in your head, you're thinking, well, I'm just at step one. The real mindfuck is that the harder you try to hide your shame, the more it shows. Shame is a self-reinforcing emotion. So the more you try to hide your shame, the more it actually grows. You are giving water to this plant of shame that is just bursting through the soil. So all this continuous shame, what it's doing here is it's not allowing you to actually grow. You cannot feel shame at the same time while trying to get better at dating. So here's how you're going to break the cycle. We're going to give you a shame shutdown mantra. So every time that you feel that, you're going to say, this isn't me talking, this is the shame talking. We are going to personify it so it doesn't become an actual part of you. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but good. That's the point. Then you're going to remember how to do it and you're going to hopefully do it even more. We all had that one moment with a girl where the shame hit us really hard. I want to hear the story from you. So just leave a comment down below. We can share this with each other and we can read it so we can actually see that we're not alone here. The second thing to remember is that those who try to chase approval will never actually catch it. You're treating every single interaction with a woman like it's some performance review. You're remembering all the interactions that you're having. Every single time that you feel bad from a woman because she rejected you, you're trying to fix it. You're constantly in fix mode. So you're trying to fix yourself to be what you think other people want you to be, to the point where you fixed yourself so much that you don't even know who you are anymore. You can't even recognize yourself. And you're so hungry for approval that you look in the mirror and you don't even know who that person is. You're not guilty here. This kind of stuff starts in childhood. We want to seek approval and care from our caregivers. We're looking for love. We're looking for connection. So you think that if I'm not getting love or approval, I'm doing something wrong. And this will travel all the way with you into adulthood and beyond. Here's how you're going to break free of this. You're going to create a 3 non-negotiable list for the things that you don't ever want to change about yourself for anyone else. So that way, if you feel this need to people please, you can come back to you and who you are, so you actually stay to your core values of the true you and not trying to change for other people. Now, you're not invincible. That's why yesterday's wounds actually become tomorrow's wall. walls. Let me explain. Your ex didn't just cheat on you, she rewired your nervous system. You even have trauma from giving that girl in 6th grade a flower only for her to reject you. Maybe every time you start to get close to someone, you start to see these red flags. So you put these walls up, you start to actually push people away, you start to become an avoidant. Traumas can be large, they can be small. What they do is they cause a reaction in your body. So those reactions are trying to help you and prevent you from actually feeling or getting involved in a trauma again. Let's say, for example, you get cheated on by your girlfriend. Now all of her behavior is tied to this trauma. You might think if you date someone else in the future who might be even just a little bit like your ex, that that woman is going to cheat on you, which is not logical and not necessarily true. Here's how to fix this. You're going to do something called the clean slate challenge. Every time that you meet a new person, you're going to say to yourself, this person has not hurt me yet. We want to disconnect any feelings that you have from your past to what's happening right now in your present. Once you start seeing how these inner wounds are affecting you, any kind of shame, any kind of past trauma, you're going to see the patterns. You're going to see how it's affecting your everyday life. And this is not just thoughts anymore, because your thoughts affect your choices and your actions. So your thoughts are now bleeding into your habits, into your everyday life. So what most guys do is they shrink into their little safe place. They hide, they go away. And this might be your comfort zone, but really it's your discomfort zone because you're so uncomfortable with what could happen if you go out and you actually try to meet women. And in this discomfort place, you feel the guilt, you feel the shame, you feel those terrible emotions. But to your mind, it feels less uncomfortable because you're not doing anything different. You see, the longer that you stay in your comfort zone, the more you make excuses, the more that you don't take action, don't do anything, the deeper the hole goes and the worse you're going to feel and the harder it is to actually climb out. Then there's independence, which is good, but it's just lonely and you're not really going to get a lot out of just spending your whole life alone. On the other end, there's codependence, which is no good. It means that you have to be in a relationship and you're just stuck to someone. But what we want is interdependence. Let me explain. This is when you are secure in yourself, but your life is better because there's actually people in it. The studies have shown time and time again that life is going to be much more fulfilling when you have people in it. So we want to find a nice medium between you being completely alone, but also having some people in your life to share moments with. That could be friends, and in this case, we're talking about dating, could be a girlfriend. So here's one way to actually break yourself out of this discomfort zone. And that is by trying to share some of the things that you like to do with other people. So if you like gaming, try doing it with a friend. If you like working out, get a workout buddy. Anything where you can try to have people be more part of your life to start to grow outside of that discomfort zone. One of my favorite writers has a quote that I use all the time: motion over meditation, which means taking action rather than trying to kumbaya yourself on a couch and get your mindset right. Action is the best step. Confidence comes from action, not the other way around. Doesn't come from just a mindset. You have to understand that the perfect moment will never arrive. You have to understand that confidence comes from competence to move, to do something, to take action. So what I want you to do is start thinking of action as learning. So even if you fail, it's learning. Even if you feel awkward in a conversation, it's learning. If you mess up, you say something stupid, it's learning. And I get it. This is really hard to actually implement when you're at that rock bottom. So it takes really small baby steps just to get yourself out. And again, that's going to come from one word: action. Here's a great trick. It's called the 5-second rule. Anytime that you feel hesitant to do something or make a move, you count down to 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And in 5 seconds, you have to do that thing. Maybe that's calling a friend. Maybe that's going over and approaching the woman, joining a conversation, asking for a number. By the time you get to 0, you have to go do this thing. And this is going to trigger you to actually make moves. So if you work on your wounds and your behavior, then you've come farther than almost any other guy in this planet. But it's not over. There's still a few more steps to take. You put in the work, but now it's game time. Now, I just want you to know real quick, your dating life is not fucked. It's just being held down by patterns that you can't see. So if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because I'm going to unlock how to actually fix this in this video, but of course, future videos as well. So let me continue to help you by giving you a few more mantras that are going to help you out. The first mantra, my favorite: this screen always lies. What does that mean? You're going to see your friend getting a bunch of Tinder matches. You're going to see YouTubers living this awesome lifestyle. You're going to see that on Instagram. The screen always lies. These apps are designed to make you feel like crap. Yeah, it's true. It makes you feel terrible, and then it gets you addicted to them because you want to continue to see what's going on in the world because your world is not as exciting as everyone else's and becomes this vicious cycle. At first, my advice is just to turn it all off. Out of sight, out of mind. Once you can get that away for a few hours, even a few days, that FOMO is going to go away. But there's a better way to even kill the screen, and this is a stupid, simple one. You're going to put all the apps away, and you're going to go out. You're going to go get a workout. You're going to go to a coffee shop. Make apps your backup plan and make your current plan taking action and going outside. Okay, the second mantra is no other gods. So we put things on pedestals, possessions, people. We look at them like they are the ultimate. If we don't have them, then our life is fucked. We put them up there. That's out of our reach, and it makes us feel that much more uncomfortable. Now, here's the cool thing. We have decided to put them up there. That means we have control, and we can actually take them down. You think you need 6 figures, you need a 6-pack to actually get results. You're putting those things on a pedestal, or you're listening to what other people are saying that you need those things. You can hear it all over the internet. So you don't take any action, and you either give up or you just try to get those things before you even put yourself out there to date, which is a big mistake. You see, that's building a life that on paper looks good, but to you, it's going to feel inauthentic. It's going to feel empty. It's not going to do much for you. I'm not saying that 6 figures and 6-packs are bad. What I'm saying is that that's the only thing that you're trying to get. It's going to be a very long and dark road. So the question comes up, okay, so what do you focus on? Every day, improve a little bit in any area. If you do that every single day, just 1% for a full year, imagine where you'll be in 365 days. Here's a little exercise I'm going to give you. Take a piece of paper. We're going to do what's called a perfect partner paradox. You're going to write down everything that you think makes someone high value. And then you're going to think about those things, and you're going to say to yourself, do you want to date someone who judges you by that list? Your standards are probably making you miserable. Okay, the third mantra is never perfect. You're thinking everything has to be perfect. So you're scared to take action because one little failed escalation attempt or one rejection or one girl who ghosts you, it becomes the end of the world because you want that perfectionism. That's not the way to do this, to do anything in life, because you will be making mistakes. You've even read all of these different dating advice books. Hell, maybe you've even watched a lot of my videos, and you're trying to use it all and make it all perfect, and you're trying to study it all so you don't make any mistakes. How fucking exhausting is it going to be to think that you have to be perfect, which is not a reality, at all times, every single time that you ever have an interaction with a woman? It's just not realistic. Nothing anyone ever does is ever perfect. That's why this mantra is never perfect. Finally, you hit the evolution. Not because you got everything perfect, but because you're not trying to make everything perfect. One of the most important things I also want to mention is that chemistry cannot be manufactured. If you're too focused on how to manufacture chemistry, then you take away the sense of self that doesn't allow you to be the natural you in conversation. Now, I know I teach here how to build attraction, how to build tension, but if you're too focused on it and treating every interaction like it has to be perfect and like you have to do all the little steps, then you don't end up in a natural conversation. So instead, take some of the tips on how to build attraction lightly and do a couple things in conversation, not trying to make everything this manufactured conversation. And the truth is, you don't want to date everyone. You're only trying to find someone who's a good fit for you. You want to date people who you're attracted to and they're also attracted to you. You want to date someone who you care about and they also care for you. You want to date people that you find fun and they also find you fun. The whole process is you filtering out to find the right person. The final form of dating advice all boils down to this. I'm fine, you're fine, so let's do this together until something changes. When you get to the point where you're more clear on who you are and what you're all about, dating gets that much easier. Look, the truth is your dating life isn't fucked, okay? It's just frozen. frozen in the shame that you feel, frozen by rules that were never real, and frozen by perfectionism that's keeping you stuck. And when you fix these things, you're playing a whole different game now, and you start to get unstuck because you're playing on a whole new level. I've helped thousands of men make this transformation, and my team and I can help you too. Just like Marcus, 29 years old, he thought that he was too old to get this stuff handled. Now he's dating someone who he shares his interests with because he stopped hiding who he was. Or James, who was convinced he would never date again after his bad breakup. Now he's teaching men how to be true to themselves and attract more women. Or Mike, who is the king of self-sabotage, who ultimately thought he was broken. Now at 42, he's in the healthiest relationship of his life. These guys all dealt with the same mental struggles as you: fear, shame, and doubt. If you're ready to fix your dating life for good, then book a call down below and we'll chat with you. Because once you found her and believe that you deserve her, our job is done.